The most dominant rider in World Superbike racing right now might not have a MotoGP seat next year. Not because he is too slow, because the manufacturer that owns him just admitted out loud that it does not get to decide. Nicolo Bulega has won every race this season. Every single one. And the moment everyone was waiting for, Ducati confirming where its golden boy goes, arrived as something closer to a shrug. Ducati's own racing boss said the call is not theirs to make. So who actually decides the future of the best rider Ducati has? And why does that answer sit in a town that is not even Borgo Panigale? Here is what makes this strange. A rider winning everything is supposed to have leverage. Bulega has the opposite. The trackhouse conversation cooled. Grassilli already said no. The factory garage is full. One by one, the doors a champion expects to walk through have closed, until only a single door is left. And that door belongs to a team Ducati cannot give orders to. So the strongest season of his career has produced the weakest negotiating position of his career. That is the part nobody framed while the highlight reels were playing. Go back a few months. When Bulega's name first started circling the Premier class, the logic looked simple. A rider this good, on Ducati machinery, would have teams fighting over him. Instead, the market did the reverse. Grassilli, the obvious satellite landing spot, had no room and locked in Enea Bastianini and Daniel Holgado. The door most people had penciled in shut first. Then came Aprilia. Bulega's manager sat down with trackhouse boss Davide Brivio about the open seat there. A real option that did not depend on Ducati politics at all, hanging only on whether Iogura moved to Yamaha, and it quietly faded. The way options fade when a rider is left waiting on everyone else's dominoes to fall first. That left the factory math, and the math is brutal. Ducati fields 6 MotoGP bikes. Marc Marquez and Pedro Acosta hold the factory seats. Grassilli is set. VR46 already signed Fermin Aldeguer to one side of its garage, and Fabio Di Gianantonio is leaving for KTM. Count it all out, and the most dominant rider in World Superbike has exactly one realistic door left on the entire Ducati grid. One. And it is the single door Ducati does not actually own. So everyone waited for Ducati to do the obvious thing. Step in. Protect the asset. Make the call. This is the manufacturer holding the most untouchable rider in the paddock. A man who has won 21 races from 21 starts this year. 25 in a row counting last season. The longest unbeaten run the championship has ever seen. If any company on earth had earned the right to place its own champion, it was this one. And then there is the detail almost everyone glided past in the noise of the win streak. When Ducati's racing manager, Mauro Grassilli, was finally asked where Bulega actually goes, he did not announce anything. He said the decision isn't Ducati's alone, that final approval has to come from the team in Tavullia, and that he still had to, in his own words, speak with Uccio this week. Read that back slowly. The manufacturer is not handing down a verdict. It is asking for permission. Ducati can support, it can facilitate, it can lobby. It cannot decide. That is an extraordinary thing for a factory to admit about its best rider. And Grassilli was not cold about him, just the opposite. He called Bulega one of the family, a true Ducati rider with a Desmo heart. But affection is not authority. Ducati adores him and still has to knock on another team's door to learn whether that is even enough. The warmth did not soften the powerlessness. It made it louder. And it gets harder. Even behind that one remaining door, Bulega is not the obvious pick. His own manager has admitted he is not the first choice, or he would already be signed. Inside VR46, the queue ahead of him is real. Luca Marini, Rossi's own half-brother, is the stability option, even while he and his Honda teammate trade blows in qualifying. Celestino Vietti, the academy product out of Moto2, is the loyalty option, even if picking him would deepen the nepotism accusations the team already hears. A man winning every race on the planet, and he is the third name on a list he has no control over. So why is Bulega's name now the one being reported as chosen? Watch the movements. not the press releases. Franco Morbidelli, the rider currently in that seat, was spotted inside the Ducati World Superbike garage at Misano. A MotoGP rider does not wander into another paddock for the coffee. The shape of the deal is a straight swap. Morbidelli out to Superbikes, Bulega into MotoGP, with Rossi wanting an Italian now that Di Giannantonio is gone. Every one of those dominoes is Rossi's to push, not Ducati's. Now step back and look at what this actually is. For months, this was sold as a Ducati story. Would Ducati reward its champion? Would Ducati make room for him? Every headline pointed straight at Borgo Panigale, but Borgo Panigale was never the one holding the pen. People thought this was about Ducati promoting its best rider. It was really about Valentino Rossi deciding the fate of Ducati's best rider. That is the flip, and it changes everything. The most powerful manufacturer in MotoGP, with the most dominant rider in its entire stable, has handed the single biggest decision about that rider to a team owner in Tavullia, who does not build the bike, does not pay the factory's bills, and does not answer to Borgo Panigale at all. And that is real power. Rossi is not just running a team here. He is the gate standing between the best rider in World Superbike and the only MotoGP seat left in the world for him. Ducati can build the fastest motorcycle on the grid and still be unable to seat its own champion without Rossi saying yes. Sit with what that reveals about who really runs the rider market in the Ducati empire. It is not the people who build the engines. So here is where it lands. Bulega did everything a rider is supposed to do. He won every race. He broke the records. He turned a World Superbike season into a one-man procession. And it bought him exactly one thing: a place in somebody else's queue. Dominance did not hand him control. It handed him a strong case to make to a man who is not even his employer. That is the uncomfortable truth, sitting under all the winning. In modern MotoGP, being the best is not the same as being in charge of your own future. This season was supposed to be Bulega's coronation. Instead, it turned into an audition, judged by Rossi, on Rossi's timeline, for Rossi's reasons. Any colour is fine, Bulega said about the bike he is still waiting on. A rider winning everything, telling the world he will take any seat, just give him the door. That is not the voice of a man in control. That is a man waiting on a phone call. And that call is coming soon. When it does, it will not come from the factory that calls him family. It will come from Tavullia. So the real question was never whether Ducati wants Bulega. It is whether the best rider in the world should need another man's permission to race. Does winning everything mean anything if somebody else still holds the door? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.